Welcome back to Full Circle with Mikali. How are you doing? A very good morning to you. Where are you watching us from this morning? 111 is our SMS line. Send in your salams, be part of the conversation, send in your questions as well. Switch TV KE on Instagram, Switch TV Kenya on Facebook. Now, we're getting into a conversation that as much as I seem very talkative, I feel like I still need to learn a bit more when it comes to the art of speaking publicly, or public speaking, if you may. And we're having one of the best experts in the building in this country who is joining us today. He's part of the family, so we are happy that he is here today. Please, let's run the bumper. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Thank you.
It has been a long while, but we're happy you're back.
It's a long time.
Yes.
And I say happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Oh, and this is how birthday imeanza. Nashukuru sana.
Wish you all the best.
Asante.
We are proud of you.
Asante.
You're doing an amazing work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I highly appreciate it.
Asante.
So it's just going to sit here with me just so that all of you can just... Where do I put it over here? Where do I put it? Tinga? This is good? Yeah, everybody can see it from here? Thank you so much, Sam. I highly appreciate it. Today we're talking about public speaking and the skills that we need to be able to do this and do it well.
Yeah, sure.
So what is it really? Is it what we do every other time? So naongeanga uko nje. Ama naongeanga tu, how would you define it?
Public speaking is the ability to confidently speak with a lot of clarity.
Okay.
And public speaking is not just about speaking to 1,000 people, 500 people. It could be one person to 1,000 people to 1,000,000 people. Okay. As long as you stand to speak and you have an audience, that is public speaking. So we'll say that we do public speaking every
other day.
Every other day, yeah. Yeah.
But doing that and doing it well, or having the skills to do it well, what are some of the things that we need to establish that you're actually doing this and you're doing it well? We can hear you, we understand you.
Okay. When you look at statistics, we'll start from there probably,
Okay.
of the fear of public speaking. We say that according to statistics, 75% of the population globally, not just in Kenya, fear public speaking.
You get anxious.
They getting scared.
Yes.
When you are called upon to lead people with a word of prayer, or maybe give the vote of thanks, or maybe make a few comments. 75% of the population globally suffers from that. And also we're looking at from the working place.
Yes.
There is a research that was done in US. It's actually a study. And out of there were 2,031 participated in that study. 22% of them said sometimes they better even pretend that they are sick so that they don't do that presentation.
Sauti naenda, your knees get weak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get scared, you get nervous, you totally go blank when you start to do that presentation.
Yes.
So there are quite a number of barriers that hinders people from doing a very effective presentation.
Oh, please tell us.
One of the barriers is what is called presentation psychology, which we give it the name FUDA in DTI.
Oh, what is that?
Where F stands for fear.
Okay.
Okay, different types of fear. The fear of being stared at, the fear of uncertainty, the fear of being judged, the fear of, the fear of unknown. There are different types of fears. And then U stands for uncertainty.
Okay.
Where you're not very certain about the outcome of the presentation. How will you be judged? Are you going to embarrass yourself?
Yes.
So that's about uncertainty. And then N stands for nervousness. This is where sometimes somebody can totally go blank. You had very good points, like 5 of them or 2 of them, but wait until you get to stand on the stage.
That they disappear.
They disappear.
Yes.
We say that you never know how long a minute is until you are given a chance to speak.
That is true. That is true.
So that's about nervousness. Sometimes people even have a shaky hands, whereby you have a microphone but still shaking. That's what we call nervousness. And then D stands for doubt, where you doubt yourself. Especially when you are doing a presentation to people who are more superior than you are. You are doing it to the CEOs, you're doing it to government officials, and sometimes you can tend to, doubt yourself. And then A stands for anxiety, and that comes in as a result of unpreparedness. And you know, Kenyans, we are very good at that. We
Very
are
good.
the last minute people.
We have been called out.
So you know that you'll be giving a presentation in 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
And then you keep on watching Afro cinema until now the material day.
Yes.
That is the time you are preparing yourself. So that comes in as a result of unpreparedness. So that is one barrier.
Okay.
We call that fooder. The
Okay.
second barrier is presentation structure. It's about how to organize your presentation. Now, this is what we say, that you know, great ideas, because we are living in a world where we have great ideas, but if they are packaged well and delivered by a great speaker, can change the world. Okay, but these ideas needs to be organized. So where do you start your conversation? And one of the challenges that people face is where to start.
Okay.
Is it sometimes they can scratch their hands.
I think the beginning is usually like the hardest some, and I've seen some people do a great job with those ones. They'll start with a story, a
Yes,
joke,
yes.
but then you're not funny and maybe you don't have a story. So you get stuck.
Yeah, you get stuck because maybe you never did what is called the audience analysis. You never got to see the characteristics of the audience. Who'll be there? Okay, what do they believe in? What's their education background, their social status, geographical location, you know, the age bracket, marital status. So you need to do the audience analysis so that even if you are coming up with a joke, then of course people will get to be happy out of it.
Okay.
So that is presentation structure, whereby you are able to structure or organize your ideas. So as you said, there is a way where you should capture the attention of your audience, because you have like 8 seconds to do that. So we call that an icebreaker, whereby you need to create an environment where you can easily have a conversation. It's like going for a date, you know. You don't get straight to the point. You have to make things a bit easier, either by complimenting about the hairstyle, about the dressing, you know, that kind of thing. So in the same way, in organizing the presentation, there must be an icebreaker, then introduction. This is where you introduce yourself. Sometimes people get to forget about their name. They do it at the end of the presentation. And I say, you never told us your name.
And the audience is the one that's asking you that, and what's your name? You've done this power presentation, but you're nameless.
You're nameless, and still at the same time, you never mention about the topic. So there must be a powerful introduction. And the way you introduce yourself is a point whereby you are selling yourself. What do you want to be remembered as a speaker? Okay, so introduction is key as well. And then the body, which is basically the real presentation now. This is where you need to come up with some points which need to be very, very well supported. And then lastly is the conclusion, where you need to end your presentation with style. Because there are two things your audience will never forget: how well you started and how well you ended your presentation. So that's another barrier. Presentation structure.
How would you suggest that people end the presentation?
The presentation.
Yes.
I like the way even you start off with a quote, and then ending it with a quote is a powerful way of doing it.
Great.
Yeah.
Niko na degree. Tukiendelea hivi. Okay, Sam, so those are two right
there. Those are two.
Yes.
The last one is about a presentation delivery, whereby now you are on the stage. How do you deliver your presentation or your message? It's like being in an interview room, and you're supposed to present your ideas, why you should be hired for that position. Because public speaking is still the same. It's ability to communicate with clarity and with a lot of confidence. So even when you're going for an interview, how well can you also deliver your presentation, introduction, you know, now communicating. And we communicate in 3 different ways. Number 1 is on verbal communication. That's about the choice of words, whereby you need to be guided by the 7 principles of communication. For instance, like clarity. You know, you need to be very specific about what you want and what you're communicating. So verbal communication has an impact of 7%. It accounts to 7% communication. And then vocal is about now the tone, the pitch, and also the volume. You know, I like mostly like the hosts like yourself. They do have what is called the high status voice. As in, you just want to listen to Mwekali.
Oh, the high status voice?
Yeah, exactly.
Sam, today I am learning. Okay.
So you want just to listen, because that's a very interesting sound to listen to. It accounts to around that 8% in communication.
Whoa.
And then 55%, which is huge, is on how you present yourself. That is the appearance and the body language. Yeah, so that's also another barrier, which is presentation, delivery. So sometimes you might have very good content, but now poor verbal communication skills, and you are not very sensitive with the words,
Yes.
the ones that you put across. I don't know whether you've ever met someone and
Yes.
then
You're cringing on their behalf. You're just wondering, did you have to? Why are you saying that? I'm embarrassed for you.
Yeah.
You know, but then they
Yeah.
don't feel anything. They just, you don't know if they're just nervous or that's just the way they are.
exactly. So that's about that's about the the poor choice of words.
Yes.
And if I know as you said, you've listened to these people, whether in a burial ceremony, whether it's in a wedding, mtu anakata keki lakini the words.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Don't do it.
it.
Yeah.
We are in a wedding, and then also now the one that I talked about is the vocal, whereby you are not very audible enough. Also maybe because of the volume and the pitches itself, so it accounts to around that 8%. So that's about when you go for that interview, when you're doing a presentation, then are you audible enough? Can people listen and hear what you're talking about? Because you could be having very brilliant ideas, but what could also affect you is on how you deliver it through your voice projection.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also thirdly now is on the presentation, the way you present yourself, and that's about the appearance and also the body language. And I keep on talking about the going for interviews because people fail from the one go just because of how they create an impression of who they are.
Yes.
And that's why we have Dress to Impress. Of course,
Yes,
to
yes,
help
yes.
people build their image,
Yeah.
you know, because you have like 3 seconds to 7 seconds to create a great first impression. Even when you are communicating, when you get on the stage, how many of us always passes judgment to individuals?
Very well. Most of the times we do.
Exactly. Even before you say anything,
You're just like,
they size each people up, you know,
Yes.
like hairstyle, the dressing, and all that from the one go. So that's about the visual impact in communication, which is another barrier.
Okay.
The last barrier I put it across is on what is called the increment of influence, which is the conversion ratio. Conversion
Please
ratio is the
explain.
power of influence.
Okay.
As in you speak and you want to act on what somebody has said. Okay,
yes.
we can also call it negotiation skills.
Okay.
Getting into a business forum, you're speaking to 20 people. How many will believe in your message? I always put across somebody like Noah in the Bible who preached 120 years. Only the family believed. Or maybe in Methuselah who lived 969 years.
Yeah.
He never influenced anyone. So you can become a speaker but without any influence. So that's about conversion ratio.
Yes.
So when we're talking about public speaking is that you need to overcome those 4 barriers. The presentation psychology, the presentation structure, the presentation delivery, and lastly, which is powerful, is a conversion ratio. Is about when you speak, how many can believe in your message. Negotiation skills. Yeah. So sometimes you can speak to 20 people, but only 2 out of 20 might believe in your message.
That means you haven't accomplished what it is that you
Exactly.
set out to do.
Exactly.
If it was to buy them into your idea or into your vision.
Exactly.
So that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So that is a presentation that is very formal.
Yes.
There's this other thing that really happens. And umekatu in the crowd.
Yeah.
And then somebody says, Mwikali, please, they've caught you off guard. There's no structure. I have not planned. I have no presentation. But now they're requesting you to do something or say something. And immediately now the other things happen. Your legs fail, your throat fails. And I am such a victim of that. I do not know how to not prepare. So if I do not prepare, then I will not give a presentation. I'll just be like, what? What am I supposed to say?
I can imagine it really happens to a lot
Yeah.
of people, especially you go to a certain event and then they pick, hey, tunaonanga Mwikali, kuja sema kitu, come and say something.
Yeah, and
Okay?
something has no direction.
Exactly, exactly.
How do you handle such situations?
What you need to do is just pick on what has been there.
Okay.
Get to know and understand the occasion. The occasion was about what? Was it a graduation ceremony?
Yes.
Okay. Was it a burial ceremony? Was it a wedding? Was it a bridal shower? Or
Yes.
maybe a baby shower? Whichever the case, get to understand what the occasion is all about.
Yes.
So that even when you are choosing words, then there are ones that are consistent with the occasion of the day.
Okay.
So get to know the understand the nature of the occasion, and then also pick on what other speakers have been talking about. What has been the talk of the day?
Yes.
Okay, I've seen it even in burial ceremonies where somebody comes in and speaks without of clarity well supporting his speech or the message, and then the rest of the speakers, they end up picking what they have said. So it's the same thing. So you look at what has been consistent, but beyond that, I usually say always be prepared. You never know when you can be called upon to go and do that presentation. It's better to sweat behind than on the stage.
That is so true.
Yeah, so you always be prepared. Preparation is about if you are given a chance, and this is what I usually tell people, what can you tell people about yourself? What can you speak about? So you need to build an introduction that whichever occasion that you're called upon, you know where to start.
Sam, do you have one of those ones? Can we put you to the test?
To the test is where, if I'm given a chance to speak, I'll say, good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is Samuel Morage. I am a lead trainer in a company called DTI Group. I am very passionate about empowering and equipping professionals and business people with life skills through various programs so that they can instantly earn their value by over 50%.
I am sold. I want to hear more. I need to know how will you help me, but I understand. So this is what we need to do.
Exactly.
Despite what it is that you are, or what occasion it is, you always need to have a proper introduction of yourself. That you state your name, what it is that you do, and how it relates, how they can get help from you, or how you can help them.
Exactly. And the introduction is where you are selling yourself. And it's very important. I usually say, even when you are told, Mwekali will be leading us with a word of prayer, don't just tell people, let's close our eyes and pray. They need to know who is praying. Yeah. What's your mission in life? What are you passionate about? Because how are you going to make yourself become great? Is by serving. And serving is by sharing that gift that you have. Whatever, like now I'm talking about sharing a gift of helping people get to become better in public speaking is a gift that I'm sharing with other people. So everywhere I go, I have to touch on what is my mission and my purpose in life is to make people become better every day.
Do you think that if you're in your adult life and you do not have these skills yet, that we can still learn?
Yeah, in terms of
learning how to speak well and speak in public and be trained in that way.
Yeah, public speaking is a skill that can be learned. And surprisingly, when you look at statistics currently where we are, most of the employers are looking for people who have the ability to communicate. You can never become a great performer if there is no communication skills in you. So that is one of the skills that people are looking for, the employers are looking for. Why? Is because if you are not able to share ideas, articulate ideas in a meeting, or maybe initiate new ideas and communicate to the management, to the directors, then where will that organization be heading to? So when you look at the first skill that today people are looking for, is on communication skills. Why? Is because people are passing and they are graduating with impressive grades, but what will make them stand out is the ability to communicate. And you know, let's agree on this scenario. Tunasemanga kibelebele upeleka mtu bele. Wale watu wanakuanga na kibelebele, the chances of being promoted are also very high. And they are very visible. You know, don't just be in an organization or maybe in a certain setup and you're just warming up the seats.
Don't do it.
Yeah, you need to always be in the discussion. We say that if you are not in the board, if you are not in the boardroom, then you are on the menu.
Are there some tips that you would share with us for anybody? Because maybe you have prepared everything, but there's a bit of anxiety that just comes depending on the audience that you have. It could be, yes, I speak and I do this for a living, but now I've gotten into a bigger stage. I'm probably speaking to presidents of God knows where. And there's a bit of nervousness there because it's new for you, prepared or not. What are some of the tips that you can give a speaker to be able to calm their nerves and handle their preparation, their presentation well?
Okay, great. We say that for every 1 minute of a presentation, you need 1 hour of preparation. So if you'll be doing a presentation for 20 minutes, you need to prepare for 20 hours. Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, used to prepare himself and stand in front of the mirror and do a presentation or maybe in front of the colleagues over 200 times before stepping on the stage.
Oh my God.
Yeah. these great speakers that you have always admired, there is work that they do behind the scenes,
Yes.
where they need to prepare for that. That's the reason why I say that for every 1 single minute of presentation, then prepare for a good 1 hour. Okay, that is one. Preparation is key to success.
Okay.
Secondly is get to know exactly where you'll be starting. As I said, the introduction and the conclusion plays a very important role. And thirdly is about rehearsing the presentation. You need to visualize yourself doing that presentation, because you can never go where your mind has never been. So you need to be on the stage in your mind. You create those pictures, mental pictures in your mind as you deliver that presentation. Because once you get on the stage, it will not be like the first time that you're doing it.
Yes.
You'll be doing it in your mind over 1,000 times. Yeah, so you can rehearse your speech. You can always stand in front of the mirror, I suppose, in front of your spouse, and even you can do a video, take a video by yourself, do an audio, and then you watch yourself and listen to yourself.
Critique yourself.
Yes, and give yourself an honest feedback, and then from there you can always perfect your art of public speaking.
Sam, you are a one-stop shop for everything good manners in this world. And we've seen you talk about dressing, we've seen you talk about etiquette at the dining table, how to show up at people's houses, and today you have educated us on how to speak and speak well in public, and we highly appreciate that. How can people get in touch with you to learn more about these skills?
Oh, great. As I said, we are very passionate about empowering professionals, business owners, and even the kids about public speaking and, of course, life skills in general. They can reach out to us through training@dtipublicspeaking.com, training@dtipublicspeaking.com, or maybe they can check us through our Facebook handles, or maybe Twitter, Dress to Impress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you for my gift.
Karibu sana.
I highly
Proud of you.
appreciate that.
You are
Thank
sharing a
you.
gift to others. We appreciate you
Oh,
all the great things that you're
nashukuru
doing.
sana.
Asante.
We're going to take a very short commercial break. We will be right back. This is Full Circle with Wikali.